ball. Um, and that's a big emphasis for us. He's got great speed, everybody knows that, but his ability to get his eyes back and be able to find the ball leads to a little bit more PBUs there. Plus his technique of staying square. Done a nice job for us.
We're talking about all these defensive backs, and they're all young. I think Malcolm is the only D-back you had in uniform over 24 the other night. What is it about? I mean, you're talking individually, but the whole group. How do they kind of overcome their lack of experience in their youth?
Well, we're still a work in progress there. Let's not give us any gold stars there yet. We got a long way to go. But I think that all those guys are serious about their craft. They all work really hard. Corey and Tim both do a great job getting those guys ready. There's a lot of pride in their group. I've said a bunch of times it's not about the individual performance when it comes to our defensive line, and I'd say the same thing of all of our position groups. But our secondary is an especially tight group. They do things together. They really take an all-for-one, one-for-all mentality, and that serves them well.
Jim, as a defensive coordinator, how difficult is it to teach your pass rushers to be aggressive, yet at the same time avoid the roughing the passer penalty? I don't know if you saw the call last night, but a guy had Brady wrapped up. Brady pump faked, and he thought the pass was gone. He let him go, and then Brady dove into the end zone.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times over the years. I mean, I take myself back. I was working in Tennessee. We had Vince Young, and we were playing the Giants, and I think it was Kiwanuka, defensive end at Boston College, had a roughing the quarterback penalty on Vince Young, and there was a huge fourth down in the game. We were behind in the game, trying to get back up, and he had the quarterback wrapped up, but he was afraid of getting another roughing the quarterback, and let him go, and he escaped and moved the sticks, and we ended up winning the game. So, I mean, first of all, that's not anything that's new. I mean, it obviously does a lot to your awareness. Like I said last week, there's a strike zone on quarterbacks that's different for every other position. Even defenseless receivers, you can still go low on those guys. You can still land with your weight on them. You hit them in the air. You don't have to try to contort your body around. But quarterback in the pocket, it's a totally different story. And it does make it difficult. And I'll say this, particularly this week when you talk about a 6'5", 250-pound quarterback who's hard enough to tackle, just tackle him alone, but also worried about him and potentially getting a rough in the quarterback. And then you also add all their designed runs. Cam Newton has opened up every designed run that you can imagine, and they've really ramped up their designed quarterback runs this year over anything that they've done in the past. So, it certainly makes it difficult. We have a strike zone we got to stay in. You don't want to hit them late. You have to hit them in the strike zone. You can't hit them with your head. And now when you're going down, you got to do a good job of trying to get your weight off of that guy. In the heat of battle, it's a little bit easier said than done.
When he becomes a runner, though, it's the same, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but when he's sitting there like this, he's still a runner. Yeah. Now he's protected like a passer, but he can run at any time, not just when he's out of the pocket. I mean, they have designed runs that are almost wildcat type plays. He's taking direct snap and running quarterback power and quarterback counter and things like that. So if he's in a passing posture, he gets protection. If he's running, then he doesn't. But again, sometimes you have a hard time deciphering between the two.
You've had, it seems like this year, there have been more injuries on the defensive side of the ball than last year. As a defensive coordinator, I mean, have you seen a season like this before, and how do you compensate? I guess obviously versatility would be a big key among the players.
That's one of the reasons we cross-train so many guys and we put such an emphasis on versatility is because of this. And we had some pretty well-recognized injuries last year that we were able to overcome. Our safety position was really tight early in the season last year. Lost Rodney for a few games, lost Corey. So that's the injuries are nothing new. It's when you start getting multiple at a position, it can become challenging. But that's what we do.
That cross training of defensive backs, when in your career did you kind of see the value in that or develop that philosophy? Was it from another coach, or kind of when'd you get there?
No, I think it's probably more when offenses started using 3 wide receivers more, and you know, it sort of took the quote box safety out of the equation, and you had to play. Everybody had to play in slit space, and pretty much everybody had to be able to cover a wide receiver that was in the back end. I mean, if you just blitz one guy, somebody's got to cover a wide receiver. So you need corner skills in the back end. So you know, I think probably somewhere mid 2000s, early 2000s, that that model started to change, and I think you're seeing it not just with us, but pretty much across the league now.
You mentioned missed tackles, but Barkley was probably most of them. Do you just kind of?
Yeah, you know, with him, I don't know if I tag those as missed tackles or just to tip the hat to him. Yeah, I mean, he was tough to handle, and you know, a lot of our game plan went to trying to minimize Odell Beckham's touches, made us a little bit more vulnerable to running back. That was a calculated risk. You know, and probably the most disappointing one there is just not even laying a glove on him. It wasn't so much him making us miss. The one time we didn't even lay a glove on him and he went 55 or whatever it was for the touchdown. That's probably the most disappointing there. But with guys like that, you just got to keep coming. You know, there are opportunities there. Guys that cut back a lot, that you know, make guys miss sometimes. And you saw it with us a couple times. Our big guys got shots on them later on down. The more shots you get like that, eventually ball's going to come loose. He was outstanding in that game. He was certainly all we could handle.
Jim, with regards to Carolina's run game, is the design unique to anything that you see of running attacks in the NFL?
No, I mean, you're seeing it from, you know, a lot of people. I mean, you see it across college football, but really no different than a lot of other teams. You say probably just their willingness to do it in all down and distances and all field positions. There's a lot of teams that'll run zone read stuff in the red zone or on a short yardage play, but you know, Carolina, I don't think you can put any kind of constraint on the down and distance. Third down and whatever, you still got to handle the quarterback's designed runs. 2nd and 20, I think last night they had a 2nd and 17 or 2nd and 20, and they ran the quarterback. You know, there's a lot of other teams you can sort of take him off your radar in those situations. Not in this game. Every time that ball snapped, whether it's a designed run or just an off-schedule scramble, we're going to have to account for him.
Derek Barnett's development.
Pardon?
What's the next step for Derek Barnett in terms of making a leap, I guess?
Yeah, just try to win the next game. I mean, that's everybody's development right now. Just do whatever we can do to win the next game. You know, Derek's been coming. He's been playing outstanding football for us. Got a little bit setback with an injury, but you know, like where he's gone.
As a follow-up to the previous question about Jalen Mills on the inside, what was the thought process between moving the rookie safety to the slot as opposed to a 30-year player with more experience?
Well, Avante took all those snaps in training camp there, and you know, just where we were, we just thought it was in what we were doing with our corners in that game and the matchup we had. I mean, both Darby and Jalen are both young players, but they do have some experience, and you know, tried to put the hat on those guys a little bit more. We could get a little bit more help to the slot than we could outside.
Jim, has Carolina's offense changed much with Norv coming in, or is it similar?
No, I think there's significant changes. I mean, you see some familiar faces: Funchess, McCaffrey, Olsen, obviously Cam Newton. Significant changes on their offensive line. You know, significant changes at their other wide receiver positions. You know, drafting DJ Moore, getting him in there. You know, different tight ends, bringing C.J. Anderson in. So it's not just a new coordinator, but there's significant different dynamic of players there. You know, like I said, they just to go spinal tap on you. They just turned their quarterback runs up to 11. You know, I mean, that's really probably the biggest difference. And you know, credit to a guy like Norv Turner that's had, you know, a really long career, but he's embraced that and puts a lot of pressure on the defense by doing that.
Thank you. Locker room's open.